For round 3, I had to face Lucci, which is yet another matchup I'm not too comfortable with. I typically find it to be a coin flip, whether or not I get to swarm board and just hope that the Lucci bricks. Otherwise, it's usually a difficult game for me, and I think it's quite an unfavorable matchup for Doflamingo. But anyway, I won the dice roll and decided to go first, which I personally think is the right way to do it, just so I could get more attacks in. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure on that as well. But start off with a buggy, not the best, but it does allow me to look at top 3 and try to sequence my next turns. And then he goes for what's the name of this guy? I'm not too familiar with the cards from cheap, but this one is a 1-cost searcher where you look at the top 3 cards per deck, find 1 CP, and trash the other 2. Similar to New Age, I guess, for Blackbeard. But yeah, so he passed turn, and then I just go and leader effect into Jinbei Boa. If I recall, I wasn't much of a fan of my top deck here, so let's see what I decided to do. So it looks like I kept it on top, and then my 7k attack turned to 8k because of Boa effect. So Boa's effect is I look at the top 3 and I can attach 1 Restodon to any warlord. So I decided to attach it to leader to boost my attack. And after that, I just passed. And he plays Ice Age to reduce my Boa's cost, and played Brook to basically KO. So Brook, I believe, KOs. I'll have to review. But 1 cost or less, I think. Let me see. Oh yeah, it actually KOs 0 cost characters, so that's why he had to use the Ice Age there to lower my Boa's cost to basically 0. Well, 0. So now my plan with Lucci is to just try and swarm board and attack. Like I can't delay. So yeah, I start up with 5 here. Basically just use the rest of my Dawn to summon something. Now, I start with Perona, try to dig deeper. And if I recall right, this was a bad one. I think I found like 2 buggies, 2 Mihawks. Not exactly the cards I wanted to play up the top of my deck. I mean, I probably could have played the Mihawk, but again, it's not exactly the best card to play either, so I think I decided to bottom deck here. Yes, yeah, I did. In fact, bottom deck. And then just went 8 leader into a blind flip, and yeah. Thankfully I got Law, and I bounced my buggy and bounced this Brook. Just to reduce the number of attackers, so he'd have to spend more resources to KO my units instead of having someone, easily hit over them. But yeah, even at this point, I still think it's difficult. He can easily clear my board here, I think. Okay, goes for another. I don't know the name, honestly. It's Spam something. He took Lucci from that, I believe. And what he does here, he's on 5 Dawn. Nope, he took that back. We just did 5k on 5k on Jinbei, and he reduced my Law by 1. So Lucci's effect is you attack, you mill 2, and then you can reduce the cost of one of your opponent by 1, or one's characters by 1. And yeah, you basically reduce my loss cost to 3 and KO'd it with Kaku. And Kaku says you may place 2 cards with type CP from trash at bottom of your deck, and you can KO one of your opponent's characters with cost 3 or less. So basically, that's right. And now I had to gamble again. Luckily, it was a Weevil, and I got a free draw there. And at this point, he had like 8 cards in hand, and so I decided to putting. So that's 3 card value, you know, regardless of, I guess, what cards he had in hand. I learned from him that his hand wasn't exactly the best either, so it didn't really affect him as much. But yeah, I guess you just play up the numbers. Yeah, just attack 5. And he drops a 2k for that, which is kind of indicative. So we'll see what happens here. I have 3 cards in hand as well, so I'm not exactly in the best spot to defend my units, but he only does have 2 attackers. Well, okay, never mind. I do have 4 hand, not 3. Now, this is a very smart play from him, as you'll see. So he starts with seven. Yeah, he starts with 7 Jinbei. And as Doffy, I think your first instinct would be to defend here, just because you don't want to lose your board. Yeah, and since he only has 1 more attacker, I decided to go to 1. But then he goes 5k again into my Jinbei, and then lowers my Weevils. And then he lowers the cost of my Weevil. I drop 2k to defend. But then he goes Hina, which I think is cost -4. Yeah. And he just kills me with Lucci. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm not exactly sure how both my units were killed, but I'll have to review. But moving forward, I just went 7k pudding here, and my opponent immediately had a read on my play. I have 2 cards in hand, and one of them is Femur. So I'm just doing my best here to get his life to 0. Because at this point, I have no board, I have no hand, I am basically doomed. So I'm just going 7, 6 with Verona, trying my best to get him to 0 life this turn. And he understands that too. So now go 7, and successfully took his last life. So now he has to build up his hand, I guess, and try to get as much counter as he can, because he knows what is coming next. Stumble on my words there. Yeah, so I just basically take all attacks here, knowing that it's not really gonna matter for my play next turn because I can't really defend. Yeah, it starts off by clearing board. Yeah, which I think is the right thing to do because you probably don't want to have two attackers instead of one, but we'll see what happens here. I don't exactly remember as well. Goes 5. I just take that. 6 leader, which I take again. 6 it takes. In so you just go 7, and yeah, I think it's just a Moria turn here. Goes Moria. Moves 1. This from this he's able to summon Rebecca. And he got one more searcher out. Possibly try more, find more 2Ks. Probably the best line here, as he does get more value. And in the case that I don't have perfume, then Rebecca will be the go-to there. Yes, 5K hand, and I don't have anything to think about. Yeah, so I just go 15 either. And he had no counter. So yeah, got lucky with this one. I had to gamble twice with my leader effect and was able to get Law and Weevil out, which is very fortunate. So I kind of had like 2 lucky breaks in these past 2 rounds, but yeah, really had to go hard on that. Otherwise, I would have lost. So I just attack, which I think just how Lucci goes, man. If they draw well, it's difficult. But yeah, good game with that.